Alright, he said I wasn't gonna be taking all y'all time. I know y'all gotta get dinner ready and all that for your kids and stuff like that. Let's talk about how rich families stay rich, man. This is some next level generational wealth talk, man. I'm about to give to you because you guys are my people. Those of you on Instagram, TikTok, and then Facebook, you right here. Then I have I forget what platform this one is, but I just want to talk to you guys about how the rich families stay rich, not for just one generation, but forever. You know, Rich families, they don't just make money. See, a lot of us are getting jobs and making money, and you don't even utilize the 50-30-20 rule, which I'm going to make a video about that, how to budget and save and how to prioritize your funds or your income and actually assigning your income. See, because a lot of y'all just making money and it's just sitting around waiting on an opportunity. And most of the time, them opportunities don't show up. So let's talk about how the rich people, they structure their wealth and their assets. We'll just break it down like this. So if you got a pen, what it'll look like, just write it down. Get a pen. Y'all write this down, and y'all make sure y'all write this down too. You set up the trust. After you set up the trust, then you will form a holding company. And then with your holding company, you're going to go ahead and get some life insurance policies. And then that right there is how you fund your trust and build the generational wealth right there. Because as people in your family, as members of your family pass away, then the policy, the payout, the death policy pays out into the trust, the holding company, where you're able to take that money and reinvest it back into the economy. Now, again, the first thing you need to do is you have to create the trust. The trust is the foundation. And you have to think of this trust as a family vault. You yourself is going to be the grantor. You have to pick a trustee to manage it. And then once you pick the trustee to manage it, for my trust, I am the trustee. And then, of course, you have the surviving trustees. So if something happened to me, then the next person that I appoint come in line. And I could always change this no matter what. And then from there, you want to name your beneficiaries, the people who are going to benefit from the trust, which is usually your kids or your loved ones. The trust, it legally owns everything, and you don't. And that's how people say, I want to own everything on paper, but actually be poor and broke in real life. So that way, if you get in a car accident and you don't have enough insurance to cover the liability from all of the damage or whatever you cause, medical bills, then your assets are protected. So now that you got the trust set up and you had appointed your trustee and your beneficiaries, then it's time to move into step 2. And step 2 is going to be setting up a holding company under that trust. Now, what this means is that the trust owns the company, not you personally. So the holding company can then own multiple smaller businesses, whether it's LLCs, S Corps, DBAs, you name it. Your notary business, your trucking business, your real estate business, whatever it is that you do in your world, even if it's OnlyFans, whatever it is, all profits flows back into the trust. And that's what you want to establish. Now, here's the genius part about it. And this is the wealth builder part, the life insurance. The trust buys a whole life or an index universal life insurance policy on the beneficiaries, such as the kids, the grandkids, and even yourself. Now, when these policies grow in value, they create cash reserves inside of the policy that you guys will actually be able to borrow and pull money back from. And when I use the term borrow, because you can always withdraw the cash, but when you withdraw the cash, then you have to pay it back and you can get taxed on that. But when you borrow it, it doesn't. And this is how it works. So you have a $100,000 policy and it has $50,000 available for you to borrow. Your kids go to college, you buy a new car, you put down on a home, you buy a laundromat, whatever it is. You borrow that money out, and when you borrow that money out, that $100,000 still sits inside of the policy, and you accrue interest on that $100,000, not the $50,000 that you think you have left. So since you borrowed it, you still have $100,000 value in that policy. So now you done walked away with cash, and you're able to go ahead and reinvest that into the economy and make more money for your trust. Now, here's the mind-blowing gesture I want to give you guys. When you borrow money from those policies, it's tax-free. It's tax-free while you're alive. Now, the money, like I said, can fund the new businesses, real estate, pay for college tuition, and all of this is without touching your savings. You don't have to touch your savings at all. And when that policy matures or the person passes away, the payout goes right back into the trust, tax-free, rebuilding the family vault. Now, this is how families like the Rockefellers do it. You know, their trust owns the companies fund the life insurance policies, and their life insurance policies fund more companies. You know, it's just a wealth loop that never ends and never gets old. It just recirculate back to where it started from. And we can do this too. As a people, we must do this. And we just need to learn a game. You know, you have to find you a nice advisor, somebody you trust, or attorney, or a licensed insurance agent. And don't just buy into it. You want to actually vet these people and make sure that they understand what IUL or whole life with cash values are. And you can get the paid up riders. So like if you put $10,000 into the policy today, you could buy you a paid up rider and pay it off for the year. And when you pay it off for the year, what'll happen is the interest and things that you're accruing, you won't even have to make a payment on the policy for a while. Now, don't quote me. You know, just do your research, because if you're true about building an empire, this is where you start. Now, I just want to tell you guys, you don't want to let the system make you think that wealth is out of your reach, regardless of your circumstances and how you came about into this world. You can create your own family bank, and you should create your own family bank. Now, a trust, a holding company, and a life insurance policy would allow you to do that. And that's how we break the cycle and build legacy for ourselves and for our family and for our children. Now, if you all are serious, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a step 2 of this video, and I'm going to give you guys a step-by-step guide with real structures and examples, like how to title the LLC under the trust so that people aren't able to actually see your trust and know it's a trust, how to get the EIN set up, and how to document the life insurance policy or the funding legally, so it don't look like you're laundering money and washing money through holding companies and stuff like that. You know, so I'm just so happy and thankful to be able to have these conversations with you guys, because I have this information and I want to share it with all my people, because I want my people to do better. I want us to do better. I want us to get ahead. I want us to stop losing. And then this is for all those families out there. All you fake ass families members that are out here robbing people because they don't have their affairs in orders. You know, granny died, passed away, and now you just taking the whole house for yourself, taking the money and assets and whatever granny left behind for yourself. Fuck you. And I mean that. Fuck you. Because what you're doing is you're creating poverty for the generations to come. You're creating poverty for the generations to come. You're not assisting in the continuity and the development of building a wealth cycle for your family lineage. And for that, you should be slapped in the fucking face with a chainsaw. You know, now I'm going to use this last minute to just kind of revisit the idea and everything that I'm talking about, just to make sure you guys understand, just to make sure you guys are following me. And those of you on Facebook, I'm going to try to go live on there somehow soon. I think it's some things I have to do in order for Facebook to allow me to go live. I'm not sure. I never tried to go live before, but I will start going live just so we can have some Q&As and we can really talk about these business structures, these ideas, the real estate portfolios, how you can get into real estate investing, how you can put together thrift savings accounts for your families, 459 saving college saving plans. What actually is a good thing, you know, if you actually have kids that want to go to college, but most kids don't want to go to college these days. A lot of people think college and education is bull crap, and, you know, to each his own. You know, it works for